You can now listen to episodes of the Flying Monkey Podcast anywhere podcasts are available, like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and more. You can also watch the video podcast on our YouTube and Rumble channels. Just search the Flying Monkey Podcast and make sure to subscribe and share. You're watching the Flying Monkey Podcast. Okay, folks, well, welcome back on another episode of the Flying Monkey Podcast with Parent Stories. And today we have Loren with us. She's from New Hampshire. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
As good as expected, I guess.
Well, it's funny. We say we're doing all right because we have to say that. But
Lies. It's all lies. You know, every day is just another day that I look at it as another way to approach the situation, the mental warfare games.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. So tell us a little bit about, your story, your background, what's going on.
It never gets easy. It's always going to be hard to talk about. So excuse the emotion.
It's okay.
2.5 years. It's been 2.5 years almost now. I had a bad day, and the bad day led to this nightmare that I live on a day-to-day basis now, which it shouldn't have. After only 5 days from that bad day, I had DCYF come in and they wanted to help. So I was never explained. I didn't even know what DCYF was, to be honest, let alone I had rights or anything. I'm very non-confrontational and very compliant with my walk in life. So I just wanted everybody to get whatever you need me to do just for you to go away, I'll do it. And she just found that as a gateway to take advantage of me. And I was in compliance of her action plan and her safety plan and all these plans. And I had a week left to mitigate her concern. And she swooped in at 9 o'clock at night and took my kid,
Wow.
who was cuddled in bed with me and on a new place we had to stay in at the time. And I stayed in that place after they took her. I didn't see my kid or talk to my kid for 5 days following. That's a key factor here, because that's where they started to run my rights over, and they noticed that I'm not going to do anything about it. I couldn't do anything about it because of the place I was in. I had no phone access. I had no talk with my lawyer. I had no lawyer for a minute. And it was just like boom, 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 boom. So they had no placement set up for my kid when they took her. So she ended up actually staying at, I'm pretty safe to say, the CPSW's house until they found her first foster placement. And then when they found the first foster placement, I was in contact with her day-to-day basis. I've never been away. We've never been away, never been separated. So she, on visit days, she would come see me. It was an hour drive. And then on non-visit days, she would call. Never missed a beat for over a year. Even out of that place, I never missed a beat. So we're going to fast forward because we don't got time. Currently, on November 30th, actually, there was a order from the judge, not DCYF, who writes the orders, to reunify, transition this child home. It's not in her best interest to do B and C. Option A is transition her home. So I was obviously beside myself, excited. And my kid was at court that day. At the time, she was 8. So, no, she was 7 even. So I ran out of the room and I'm like, ah! So we were both just beside ourselves, excited. The order was for her to stay home Christmas Eve and wake up in her bed Christmas morning. It's like, look, I'm glowing just from talking about it. Well, it doesn't exist. Yeah. It never happened. It didn't exist. But I have I have the audio. So under the ADA accommodations is communication, which allows me to have the hearings on audio. So I was there and I can replay it. So they proposed an order. The Christmas Eve debacle happened, and they didn't want us to have that, and they made sure we didn't. I called the police to have an escort over to the foster house. Who I talked to her, and she was agreed. She said, "Listen, let's do this." We had a game plan. Cop gets there. He says, "You can take your kid. Merry Christmas. There's nothing we can do criminally." I'm like, "Whoa!" Now I should have just left, but DCYF called and they talked to whoever, the lieutenant or whatever, for over 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
In his cruiser. He comes back out. He puts her on speakerphone because they can't get involved. And she tells me that we will not be having a visit. And shortly after that, they moved her placement, increased services, and the case took a left turn to TPR. So this was 2023, coming into 24. So when they moved her, what they did was they had a service provider find the placement. We had no fosters in this area left. I have a letter from the former foster closing her door because of this. This is the keeping good families apart. This is not what she signed up for. And I will blast it, with permission, blast it all over the place because this is what's happening here. They don't follow anything. They don't have to. They don't have to. So with all this increase of service, the new service provider, it's this ISO level service, individual service. You know what? I was never explained it. I also never authorized it, never consented to it, nor had the knowledge it was happening for months.
Wow.
We still had the former service provider facilitating visits. We've had supervised visits for 2 years, not one bad report, not one. And currently, the new unlicensed clinician is calling the shots. She's like the CPSW. I don't even talk to this. I'm on my third CPSW, and she wanted to make change. The only thing changed was the phone number and her location. That was it. And nothing went for the better. And it gets worse on a day-to-day basis. Like, so yesterday she started in on me with, there's an order. I filed a motion for an injunction because I haven't seen my kid in 75 days. Choke back the emotion. It hurts.
Okay, take your time.
So me walking into this thinking, I'm filing this motion for an injunction. I haven't filed anything. Put nothing. I have had none of my attorneys put anything on the record. This was kind of a big deal. I'm going to say it backfired a little bit. And the order that was given, now I have a CASA, not a GAL. So
what's the difference between that? Do you know, or how could you?
A GAL is a former attorney, as far as I know, is a former attorney or is licensed to be an attorney. A CASA, a court-appointed special advocate, is not. A CASA goes through more training than a CPSW does. They're only given one case, maybe two at a time, and they're to stay on the case until it finishes, whatever. And they advocate for the child. I speak very highly of CASA, my situation anyway, because he recommends the best interest of the child to be true. And that's with her mom and not anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
He also recommended that visits be in person, which I recommended they come back to my home. That's a whole other story. My home was approved for reunification. They've always been in the home. All winter long, we didn't have a place. Just because she said so, the clinician. So there was one day we were just walking around town for 3 hours. The parent aide was mad. Me and my kid had a blast. We don't care. We're very carefree. When we're together, we enjoy each other's company and we keep it very current and very light because that's what, as a good mom, I do. Is I don't worry her. So we just enjoy
she's
each
got
other's
enough
time.
worries as it is. I mean, this is just absolute. This is just. Oh.
They're all so I was never offered any help. I was never offered not anything that they claim that they offered for referral service and nothing. I've done it all on my own, and it states that in the dispositional. They have made it, and I have my ADA. There was the smartest move. I was able to do it because there was this weird in-between area where I either had 2 attorneys or no attorney. So I went in for it. I said, I need to get this submitted. And she, no hesitation from the clerk. She stamped it. I was like, really? Nothing else, though. I've not been able to submit anything else. Your attorney has to do it here in New Hampshire. It's a court rule. So with that, they're violating every single thing an ADA stands for.
Yeah. That seems to be
Walking.
the case all over. They don't, a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of places don't even know it exists, or they don't even know what it, entails.
That's the crazy part. So there's laws. Oh, wait, there's a constitution. I don't know if they remember what that is, but there is a
Yeah.
constitution. I have a little pocket constitution that I
Good
take
for
with
you.
me to court because this is crazy. And I don't understand why they're not above it. If you think you are, there's other things that you're still not above, like the Family First Preservation Service Act. There was no preservation whatsoever. They swooped in like a thief in the night and took her, and then kept no contact. They're not making reasonable efforts. Like all these things that are federally mandated that they don't have to do in my case. They just don't. And that's my question every time I walk into that courtroom. Why is it that my child's future does not matter to you?
Yeah, exactly. And I got a quick question. And those mandates, what about the family preservation? Isn't it required or ordered or written in there? I don't know what the proper word would be, but that it has to go, they need to find the next of kin or family closest to you before they go
Got it.
anywhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I understood. And that's coming from when I was like a kid. I mean,
Kinship.
remembering, So,
So kinship doesn't always have to be family. I have family that they actually dragged into this, and that was part of the that's not in her best interest. Transition her home. So that's exactly what they did. Is they sent her to my sister's house in Massachusetts. Now Massachusetts has a different set of rules regarding certain things. It's a very sketchy type of thing to have my kid in New Hampshire go to Massachusetts because of I think it's the UCCJEA. There's a loophole somewhere that they're not
mm,
on board with the rest of the country, and
well,
it's
it's,
literally just Massachusetts.
well, I think well, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am because this is a gut feeling. So it's a message from somewhere. It's about the money. Okay. The money. So if you're transferring a money making child that you're protecting, so which they're not, to another state, then the federal funding goes to the other state where the child would be. So they're just avoiding it because the UCCJEA Act, under my understanding, is that it's to protect the child and take emergency jurisdiction.
Right,
So
right.
if you give up jurisdiction, you give up your federal funding.
You got it. So if the child's in Massachusetts, who has jurisdiction?
Massachusetts.
Right. So she doesn't have to go home here, home to New Hampshire or home back to
Yeah.
the foster placement. She can
Yeah.
stay in Mass. Now, the other thing to add to that is what happens when a foster child runs away? Runs away, whatever that may, because that's what they label it, is running away. They don't put out an Amber Alert. They don't care. They go missing. This all
Really?
leads back. They have no medical history on her because they didn't ask. I don't have a correct UCCJEA done. They didn't ask. They never did all these crucial parts of this case. I don't have a case plan. No case plan. It expired November 17th, 2023, and it wasn't complete. So how the court adopt something in its entirety for me to follow to get my kid back, and it didn't exist? Or it expired or was however you want to bend that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist in my
Yeah.
world.
And they're collecting the federal funding for the
And
foster
they're
care.
just collecting money all the time. And they shouldn't be able to. I've done it all. I've done it all. There isn't a day that goes by where I'm not doing something to report this to the US. Not we've gone federal.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
drafting RICO
the
claim,
88,
tort claim.
yeah, the ADA violations are federal offenses, and
Very right.
that takes away their immunity.
They have had me the service provider, not even the CPSW, the service provider has had me 15 minutes into the visit, run downtown to go meet them because that's what she wanted. With no location to have the visit, we walked around in 35-degree weather. no bathroom, nothing open on a Sunday. And that was just okay. That was okay. There was no bathroom. That's mandatory. Federally mandated that
Yeah. Yeah.
visitations should always, which is a parental right, to have at least a bathroom.
I mean, these
Yeah.
people are just not. Oh, here I
They're out of
go.
control, is what they are.
Yeah, well, they're not. They're not intelligent. They don't have any critical thinking skills, common sense, values, morals, ethics, honor, or honesty. None of that. And I mean,
Or humanity.
where's the responsible adults? Where's the caring? I mean, just the Christmas Eve thing that just irks me
It was
beyond belief.
awful. So the report says, the DCYF report says, the worst made up story. It's like a novel. Like, this is not what happened at all. I have 3.5 hours of audio that I took that day that just says none of that, but nobody listened to it. And I've given it. I've had 5 attorneys. And in New Hampshire, you do not want to represent yourself. It's not smart. So what would you do? What do you do? Do you just start ripping it off in court one day and just start playing it and be like, look, I've got to get this through to you. Like, what they're saying is a lie. It's a blatant lie. This is actually what happened. I'm not this good to make this up. Like, I never went to law school. What I know is self-taught within the last 2 years.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
learn a lot.
And the internet, thank God for the internet. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, but you know, and the thing that for parents watching this too, or for anybody, it's so, you know, you talk about trauma and all this stuff. It's so traumatizing that it's a miracle that you can actually get some things done. I mean, you know, and it shows like they were just doing studies about the PTSD that parents go through when they're suffering through this when their child's taken from them for no reason whatsoever. And you can act normal, function normally, like you can do the dishes, you can answer the door, you can say hi to someone, you can drive to the store, get your groceries. But then when it comes down to having to
Leaving the
to
house.
figure out talking in court, even you'll answer a question wrong sometimes because just something's shorted. You're just frozen in your head, and you can't gather the evidence properly, or you can't retain the information that you just studied
goes too
100
fast.
times. Yeah.
So by the time my brain, who's not trained for this, catches up, they're already on to the next topic, and I'm behind. So now we've had over a dozen hearings. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I am not a felon. I can actually foster in the state of New Hampshire, but
Yeah,
I can't have
that's
my own
insane.
kid.
Yeah.
I just, it's so baffling that I tell them this. I've been approved to foster, but I can't have my kid. It's because she's beautiful and she's smart. And now she has PTSD. She has childhood trauma. None of this leads up to a good future. And
But that's what they
psychologically,
want. That's what they
yes.
want. So
Yep, because
it's
now they can medicate.
the mental
Now
health is
she's
behind this.
damaged.
You know, they're just setting you up so you can go back. And I just really, you know, the words that we use in the last, I don't know, I'd say 6, 7, 8 years, we never used to use these words before. We never used to have this stuff. And it seems like when they had the medical, now we've got national medical, care, Obamacare, whatever they want to call it. Now all these crazy things are happening, and, with the system, and they're taking the kids for medical reasons. They're keeping away. They're sending you to therapy, blah, blah, blah.
That's
I mean, it goes on.
insane.
There's all these different, I talk to so many parents. I mean, you just,
Vermont
it's planned. It's
they'll
intentional.
take them before they're born.
Yeah. Before.
What? You didn't even get a chance to neglect it. Like, what are you talking about? You didn't even have a shot. The kid is still
Or then they
inside the
lie.
mother,
They
but
make
they
up
can
a
claim
report. Yeah, they make up these. It's like, what is that part of the training for this job? I mean,
Yes.
honestly,
Yep.
I mean, you're told to lie.
Yeah.
I had the same experience as you. I mean, there's an audio recording of actual conversation, and the report that says completely the opposite. And
So
these
the whole
people,
reason I'm in this mess is because of drug testing. I am an advocate you do not have to take their drug test. If they are not a licensed drug and alcohol counselor, you do not take their test. They're not authorized. It's against the law. I took their test. She came to my house. I'm the only one that signed the chain of custody. That's not for me to even sign. I don't sign that. That signs everybody who touches this cup and wherever it goes. So it walked out the door, and here it goes. Now, there's in New Hampshire, there's no regulation. So federal forensic testing that's not even a thing. They can take it 80. So a speck of dust on a grain of sand is what an NG is, a nanogram. 80 nanograms is not 500's the cutoff federally. 80 is what kept her from me. And a rapid result test that was never sent to a lab. That's what took her from me.
And those tests are faulty and they're not consistent. And I was reading an article. It was funny because I was interviewing another mother who had that same situation. I mean, well, not the same situation, but they took her daughter from her, and they were using the drug testing thing. And right after that interview, an article popped up online. It's kind of odd, talking about, maybe I shouldn't say the state. It was in the Midwest. Let's put it that way. It was in the Midwest.
Sounds good.
And there was a drug testing place that was caught tampering and falsifying the records in cases of children being kept from their parents.
Custom profiles.
And it was like, holy crap. There's another POS out there that's making money and getting kickbacks or something, or promise something to do this crap, and you're destroying lives.
I tried to bring it to their attention, and I said, listen, this lab that you're using, nowhere near New Hampshire, mind you, Midwest. We have plenty of solid, reputable places that I can go to take a drug test. So I did. Because there's an open court case, I cannot collect the results. I didn't know this walking in there. They cost $450 per test for forensic testing. Now, all the CPSW had to do was take my med list, which is just one medication, and send it in with the requisite of the test. It says it right at the top of the test. She never did. She didn't know how. On numerous occasions, I have the audio of her telling me she didn't know how. That's because you're not a late act. But anyway, why am I being held accountable and not getting my kid back for your ignorance?
Yeah, well, because they're making money. Everyone's making money. The court system.
They praise me in court all the time. That you're a good mom. She is the way she is because you're a good mom. What did you just say? And then you're not going to give me my kid back? Even the CPSW has said it. Her parenting skills are, she has great parent. What are we doing then? You're just traumatizing my kid on a day-to-day basis. Currently, she's not even a mile from me right now because she's in school. After the school, which if I go there, I get the cops called on me. She goes, to wherever she goes. I don't even know where she is. 25 minutes away.
That's insanity. This is just.
I'm the threat.
These are crimes against humanity. This is abuse. I mean, this is so. I was interviewing a guy. He said, he called it the American Auschwitz, and it's like, oh boy, And then you think about it, and it's like, wow, this is because the numbers I was reading, and I saw other people talking. The numbers that they speak of are low, but I'm seeing, someone to 22 million, but 25 million families are suffering this, and I think that's just the alienation. So if you added in the CPS,
which
how
they
many
also
millions,
alienate.
in the fostering and the adoption, and it's all this money that they get to do these so-called jobs in the best interest of these children.
$1 trillion industry.
And who are these people deciding what good parenting skills are? They tell you, let the baby sit there and cry until it soothes itself. That's the biggest.
They don't have kids.
That's a crock of shit. It's destroying the attachment system at birth, the first few days. Hold your baby, and sleep with it and love it and care for it.
I never let her go. The day I had her,
send it to
never let her go.
Don't send it to preschool.
She came to work with me until she went to school.
They should. Well, that's the other thing. We've been indoctrinated to believe in a system and all these things that never existed for however long humanity existed. If it's millions of years or tens of thousands of years or whatever it may be, we never did this crap. It was never necessary. You had mom and dad and you stayed together. And if you argued and acted like an idiot, Well, someone else in the family, you had four grandparents there. You had cousins and sisters and brothers and aunts, and then
Right.
you had the who's in charge of the
I'm
tribe or the
Italian.
group.
We have a huge family.
And you go, yo, and you yell at him. Don't you ever talk to your husband like that? Don't you ever talk to your wife like that? If you know your kid, no, you go give your kid a hug and say you're sorry and tell him you love him, and you act properly and you constrain the bad behavior. But we've grown up in as latchkey kids, and divorce is normal, and now the thing is, live your best life. Well, folks, sorry to tell you, you only got one life. So, there's no such thing as your best life. It could be the best moment of your life, the best
Right.
part
Yeah.
of your life, the best few
True.
years of your life, but all this bullshit that they're putting out, it just it messes our heads up. And then all these adults are acting like bad little crazy kids because no one
Right.
was ever there. Their attachment systems were damaged and they were
Mm-hmm.
separated from either mom or dad or both because they're sent off to school. And
What's it called? ACEs, I think. It's the childhood trauma, adverse childhood trauma thing that. So here in New Hampshire, we have the Office of Child Advocate. It was a Band-Aid office, basically, because New Hampshire's never passed an audit. DCYF has never passed an audit. They're not even in partial compliance of their own orders, let
Wow.
alone them to point the finger at me. I'm in full compliance and have been. That's why I don't deal with them anymore. I don't talk to them. You have nothing to say. So why would I going to keep talking to them? Talk to my lawyer or talk to the judge. Don't talk to me because I'm going to use it as evidence against you. That just makes sense to me. So now they don't bother with me. But they don't, it doesn't make any sense if they have a whole office of child advocate. They're supposed to advocate for the children, right? So they've been on my case for a year and a half. They've done nothing. They've done not a thing.
Yeah.
Why was she taken from my home in the first place? Because her kinship, we have a beautiful home. We own a home. We have a great family, big fat dog, fenced in yard, the whole nine. We're art. I do a lot of art and a lot of music. Everybody who's come here has always been, all the parent aides would fight to come to this visit. That's where they want to go. It's fun. We're fun. What's the problem? Why was she taken from this house in the first place? Because I'm the one who had the bad day. I left the house. Why was she taken from the house? Is the question. She didn't leave with me. I got arrested and they brought her to the police station 2 hours after I was already there. Why?
There should be no reason.
I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm in jail.
Well, not even that. Whatever. That was the situation. So,
right. So there's her kinship. She should have never have left, but she should have come back. Her only father figure in her life was waiting for her. Had her home. I don't understand why that happened. Well, it happened because they had zeroed in on me long before that, and it says it in the case summary. I mean, this was March 9th. There's a date on my case summary that's January 31st, 2023. I didn't know how to spell DCYF at that point. I had no tie-in.
You're saying that they were aware of you. They were aware of you before you had that bad day. See,
yes,
that's another flag that I've talked to some other people too, and their stories are the same thing. Or I know some people too. That
I'm a single mom, and I was on TANF because they made me when I moved to New Hampshire. She was born in Maine. I lived in Maine majority of my adult life, but I was born in Mass. So we came to New Hampshire because of my relationship. I was a single mom, fending for myself. They made me go to child support enforcement, who didn't do anything, but they sure did keep a record of what? Of my TANF. Medical, all that stuff. And you have to have it. You have to do it.
What is that for folks? Because I don't even know what TANF
I don't even know,
for.
to tell you the truth. Child support enforcement is a whole other office.
Oh, it has to do with child support and your prior relationship.
Yeah,
okay.
Because her father's never been around.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was going to ask that. I didn't want to push a
money.
button, but where's Dad at?
In Florida. He left when she was born. We were married and we had a great thing going on, and he got scared. I'll say he got scared. He doesn't have a connection with her. So why would I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to go after him for child support. I just physically, it makes me sick. I've actually deducted money and the weekly just because I didn't want him to lose his license. I didn't know how it worked out. I didn't care. Leave me alone. That's basically what I was at with him.
Is he in contact with your daughter? And
Right now, no, because nobody can find him. He has a
wow, so
lawyer that the state appointed for him because we're
yeah, but
facing
that's
TPR. So because I'm facing TPR, I'm the petitioned parent. He's the
yeah.
non-petitioned parent, and they dragged him into this, so he could possibly lose his rights too.
Well, that's what
What
they
are you
want. See,
exactly?
this is part of their
Exactly.
plan. Trust me, because I've noticed
Mhm.
too when they appoint lawyers in these case some of these cases, they're not working for you. They're working for
I'm
the
gonna.
system.
This is the craziest thing, and I
And
just because you
this
brought
is
it up, I
just
got to bring it up.
yeah.
So I've had a court-appointed attorney withdraw after begging him for months. Finally, so I was appointed a new one, and she was tally ho. She's the one who got the reunification order done. Well, she was nominated to be a judge, so she had to withdraw. So they appointed successor counsel, and I go to meet with this attorney for the first time. I'm meeting with somebody who's going to listen to me. We met, and at our first hearing, and he saw it. He saw the whole thing, and he said that they'll all say, what? Who'd you piss off? Is what was said. So come to find out, he's the private hired attorney for multiple years for the place I was staying at that reported me to DCYF in the first place. You're going to tell me something that doesn't happen. We are an hour from that place. First of all, there's attorneys all over in between. This
Yeah,
one attorney who can be a court appointed attorney ended up being my attorney and withdraws because it's conflict of interest because he's the
crazy.
reporting party's private attorney. Tell me that's not RICO all day long.
Yeah. This is all just so unconstitutional, and they don't have the right, and it's all this conflict of interest, and it's and then we're told to believe in it. I mean, and trust it.
Article
And
3, what
they're
this
right.
man has stood up and shouted. Now I think in all 50 states he has said it. He's the reason why I have the pocket constitution
Well,
because
good.
it
That's
makes
great.
sense.
Yeah,
If
it
you
does.
are a person of this state and you have an issue with the state, why are you being tried in your own state? That's already biased. That doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense.
Yeah.
It
Oh yeah.
doesn't. So
Yeah.
think
And the states think they're sovereign, and they're not, because
they're not. Nope. Under the
you're part
ADA,
of the
they lose
United
that.
States. Yeah, well, just in general, they aren't anyway. They think they are.
Uh,
There's crazy stuff going on in California. Like, where's it's like, no, folks, you're not. You're part of the United States. But our
Here's a great
representatives and our
question.
elected
We can
officials
leave it with
are
this.
they were supposed to represent us. They're not our leaders. They're not our kings, our queens. They're not our bosses. They have no right to make decisions for us at all. Is there anything you want to say real quick? Because we got about a minute.
No, I mean, I just thank you for this opportunity to be heard because we need to have our voices. It's important. And
It is.
I just pray for everybody involved in this situation because it's not fun and know that you're not alone.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Don't give up.
Yeah, and we need more unity amongst all these groups, though. We really do. A
That's
lot of
it right
people
there.
are kind of, they're going through a hard time, and don't see their own selfish
We
egos
got to
getting
put
in the way
our
and
stuff
causing
aside
problems. Yeah,
and unite. Together we stand, divided we fall. Pink Floyd said it best.
that's right. No, exactly. I love that. Yeah, I'm a musician too, so I hear you.
Good.
But but thank you so much for coming on today, Lauren.
Thank you so much.
You're in my prayers, and let's touch base down the road here, and we'll get a update, and we'll hopefully have really good news to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you. You're in my prayers also, and everybody else again.
All right. Well, you take care. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks.
All
Bye.
right. Talk soon. All right. Take care. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Flying Monkey podcast. Like, follow, and subscribe to our social media sites on Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, TikTok, and Truth Social. You can also go straight to our webpage at www.flyingmonkeypodcast.com.
A system that profits from conflict cannot deliver peace. It happens to mothers, it happens to fathers, and it happens to grandparents. But it's the children who suffer most. Stuck in family court? It's time to take action. You're not alone. We can help. Parents ask, we answer. Talk with us today. Click the link below to make an appointment to talk with us for free.